Here's a GRE geometry question. Let's take a look. The cylinder above has a volume of 36 pi cubic inches and a height of 4 inches. What is the surface area in square inches? All right, well, let's start with this. There's a height of 4 inches right here. If we know that the volume of this whole thing is 36 pi cubic inches, let's figure out what the radius is. Now, the volume of a cylinder, in case you've forgotten, I'll write the formula right here. The volume of the cylinder is going to be the area of the circle, pi r squared, times the height, right? So we know the height. We know the height is 4. We know the volume is 36 pi. So we can write 36 pi equals pi r squared times 4. And let's solve for r. We'll divide both sides by 4 and by pi. So what we get is r squared equals 9. So the radius is equal to 3, right? I know that the radius of this circle is equal to 3. All right, halfway there. Now, the surface area, you could memorize the formula for the surface area. You could do that. But instead, it's more helpful, I think, to just calculate it based on what you see. What is the surface area of the cylinder? Well, it's going to be the area of this circle plus the area of the bottom circle under here. We can calculate that right up front, right? The area of this circle is going to be 3 squared times pi, or 9 pi. We'll keep a running tab. And there's this circle on top and this circle on bottom. So far we're up to 18 pi. But then there's this area. How do we calculate the area of they call it the waist of the cylinder? Well, the way to do that is to think about it like a can of soup. If you unfurl the label on a can of soup, what kind of shape are you looking at, right? Unfurl the label on a can of soup, and it's a rectangle, right? And I'm going to draw this rectangle out. The rectangle is going to look something like this, something like that, not exactly like that, right? It's going to look something like that. It has a height of 4, right? Because that's the height of the can of soup, this cylinder. And then we need to figure out this distance right here. Well, that distance, when you think about it, is the circumference of the circle. Everyone see that? And if you don't see it, I would suggest that you get a can of soup and unwrap the label. You'll see that the top of that cylinder, right? The top of that cylinder is the circumference, right? I can even kind of like shade it in right here and shade it in right there, so you see. Well, what's the circumference of this circle? If the radius is 3, then the diameter is 6 and the circumference is 6 pi. And so what we get for the area of the label of the soup, or the waist of the cylinder, is 24 pi. We're going to add that to the area that we already have for the top and bottom. 18 pi plus 24 pi, drumroll please, gives us a total area, surface area, of 42 pi square inches.